Number 6 takeaway is there's been multiple new types of UFOs described, which, you know, I said types because, I mean, there's like ones maybe other people, they're not new to them, but to me, they're new. So, Mr. Graves testified about a dark gray or black cube inside of a clear sphere with no obvious means of propulsion. This was witnessed by multiple military pilots as close as 50 feet away from the UAP, near military training sites off the eastern seaboard.
Which is crazy because there are, like, it's always been just the standard spaceship, the circle disc spaceship. When you told me about the Tic Tac spaceship, the Tic Tacs, you just told me about that a few months ago, like that. I just learned about that, like when we started this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I didn't even know about that. And then to find out that there's even more different kinds that people are seeing is crazy.
Yeah, and there's multiple because as well as the UFO size of a football field with red lights and orbs around it, which they saw fleets of those around their military installations and bases.
That's so crazy.
Then also, as you mentioned, there's a Tic Tac shaped UFO that was spotted in 2004, which that one had smaller ones coming out the bottom of it based on Mr. Fravors' testimony.
Yeah.
Number 7 takeaway is the misappropriated U.S. taxpayer funds.
That's a huge takeaway because that is taking money away from me.
Yay!
From all of us.
So they did state that private contractors have their own funding and private funding, but there is also the United States money that is misappropriated through possibly IRAD, and that's per David Grush. IRAD is helping to fund the UAP research and development of reverse engineering of crafts. And he did say he can get into specifics of what contractors, where these programs are taking place, but he has to do that in a skiff.
Mm-hmm.
But he did say it's happening, but he can't say where or how much money is being misappropriated. The other takeaway, number 8, is the talk. Mr. Grush stated that these UAPs or UFOs could possibly be interdimensional beings. Mr. Grush discussed a scientific theory which is currently being studied. It is possible that these UAPs and non-biologics are interdimensional beings rather than from another planet or outer space. He referenced his knowledge of astrophysics and the holographic principle. He used an analogy of a shadow, a 2D image into a 3D model. And then for those who don't know what the holographic principle is, I do have the definition. So the definition of a holographic principle is a property of string theories and a supposed property of quantum gravity. It states that the description of a volume of space can be thought of as encoded on a lower dimensional boundary to the region. The principle holds that our three-dimensional world, so that's why he said the shadow. So our three-dimensional world is a representation or a projection of all of this activity taking place on a two-dimensional surface. The information content inside a room depends on not the volume of the room, but the area of the bounding walls.
Wow.
That's why he used the analogy of a shadow, because your body would cast a shadow.
Yeah.
That shadow is like what the UFOs, the UAPs could be, like a shadow of something from somewhere else.
Uh-huh. Really?
That's what he's saying.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but it wouldn't make sense if they crash and then they retrieve them. Then it's not it's like a solid
shadow. It's really there.
So I don't know how that works, but I don't understand.
But that
I don't
could be-
understand string theory.
I don't understand any of that either, but I wonder if that could be why there's different shapes now and like different types of UFOs. I wonder if some of those UFOs are what he's saying, like a shadow type thing, like the Tic Tacs, or
Yeah.
or like an illusion of them coming down and out of them and stuff, and I don't know.
So, and that is all just scientific theory that has not been proven. The holographic principle is just a theory.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we're going to define interdimensional beings. You may or may not know what it is, but an interdimensional being is an adjective that describes something or someone that exists or travels between dimensions of space or time. So they could be time travelers.
That's what I always thought.
Yeah.
That UFOs were just time travelers.
It could be time travelers.
Like it's like people from like, thousands of years in the future.
Mm-hmm. And a dimension is a state of energy that can be different from another. An interdimensional being is a hypothetical creature that can move or change its dimensional state. So it could be time traveler. It could, I don't know. It could just move wherever it wants to move.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the definitions that go with his claim, Mr. Grush's claim that they are studying this scientifically. It's being studied and nothing has been proven. But that could be that's one of the theories of what the UAPs and UFOs could be, because they don't know exactly.